Now, what better way to start your day than with all the news, travel and weather from Good Morning Britain.
Good morning, Britain. Tributes flood in for a teenage girl stabbed to death on her way to school. The 15-year-old was killed in front of her friends in Croydon in South London. A 17-year-old boy is being questioned by police. We are live there throughout the morning.
The shocking truth about vaping and its impact on Britain's children. This programme has found that more than a third of 11 to 17-year-olds have vaped, despite it being illegal for youngsters under 18 to buy e-cigarettes. Ewan Fisher nearly died after taking up vaping as a teenager. His stark warning against the habit that almost cost him his life after 8.
Also this morning, why Ross Kemp is not ruling out a return to EastEnders as he celebrates 40 years on our screens and joins us live just before 8.
And you text your child whilst under the same roof rather than having to talk to them and debating whether that's just plain lazy or practical parenting in the digital age.
Storm Agnes has now cleared away. It's a fine start, but then it turns wet and windy from the west later. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Thursday, 28th of September, 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Susanna Reid.
Good morning, Britain.
Good morning.
Well, you're on the wrong show, Ben Shephard.
I've been moonlighting next door.
I feel like you've been cheating, actually. I saw you with another woman.
Yes, and do you know how lovely and friendly she was?
Right. Okay.
Welcoming.
Well, don't get any ideas. You look,
Do you know
oh, you
there's-
look kind of flirty, aren't you? All like, oh, Holly.
What?
Oh, Holly. Oh, I got a bit of a lion. He was texting me, he was going, you know what, they make you cheesecake on this show.
Yes,
Like,
you get a lion.
All right, Brett, in the green room, can we get
And
some
they make
cheesecake?
cheesecake.
And put
Nisha's
strawberries on the top to keep him.
curry. The curry we had yesterday, by the way, was absolutely extraordinary. There was many lovely things about the show next door that's just through those doors.
Yeah.
Just telling you all.
What's wrong with your cup of tea here on Good Morning
My
Britain?
green tea that Brett makes me there's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm thrilled to be here. Although my alarm went off this morning and I had no idea what it was. So what on earth is that? What's that? Oh yeah, you've got to...
Yeah, you've got to get up early.
Got to get up early.
Got to get up early. Holly, you can't have it.
As nice as it is to go and have a little bit of different flavour of something occasionally, it's nice to come back and be with the family, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay here. We want you here.
I'm very happy being here
Hands
as well.
off, Holly.
Very happy. And also, one of the family is Front Page magazine, Good Housekeeping.
Our cover girl,
There
Kate
she
Garraway.
is. The star of
Looking
the show.
gorgeous.
You may not recognise her from that picture. I don't actually look like that.
It's like the
Amazing
cover
what
of
a
your
bit of
book. I'm
airbrushing
convinced
can
that's
do.
not you on the cover of your book. You are starring in Good Housekeeping.
Yes.
Talking about the book and talking about what's going on, I guess.
The strength of love. You are the embodiment. The
Thank
strength
you very
of
much.
love.
I think
Kate
you get
Garraway.
a mention, don't you?
Yes. Apparently, we've got a date
Yes,
to go
we
out.
have. Yes,
well,
we
I
have.
keep saying, can we please go out?
I know. Well, we keep putting dates in and things happen. So, just turn up.
Yes.
That's what we
I
came.
want
That was
to
the
do.
conclusion. Because I guarantee, if Susanna just turned up and said, "Hi, I'm here," you would go, "Brilliant! Yes, I knew you were coming." You'd have absolutely no idea.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Well, it's lovely to see you.
Nice to be
Yes.
here.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And lovely to see you too.
Yes,
Yeah. Don't go anywhere.
I'm not.
Right. It is just coming up to 4 minutes past 6. So our main news is this shocking event yesterday in Croydon, the killing of a 15-year-old girl. She was stabbed to death on her way to school in South London, and a 17-year-old boy who was apparently known to the victim was arrested a short time later, not far away. The teenager's family is heartbroken. Her school described her as a much-loved and valued friend and pupil.
The Metropolitan Police Commissioner has praised the response from the local community. A bus driver and passerby were seen desperately trying to save the girl before the emergency services arrived. Our Chief Correspondent Richard Gatesford is in Croydon for us this morning. Morning, Richard. Heartbroken community, of course, heartbroken family. And I'd imagine that there's lots of flowers and tributes being laid at the scene.
Right, 8 minutes past 6. Let's find out what else is happening today with Kate.
Thanks very much indeed. And we start with an exclusive survey for Good Morning Britain, which has revealed that more than a third of children have tried vaping. Some are using e-cigarettes up to 6 times a week. That's despite it being illegal for youngsters under 18 to buy them. Disposable vapes could be banned under new laws being considered by ministers to protect children from becoming addicted. Well, Nick Dixon is at a secondary school in Somerset. Nick, what have teachers there observed? Nithya, thank you very much indeed. That's it. You're up to date. Back to you two.
Thank you, Kate.
Right. What kind of havoc has Storm Agnes wreaked across the nations, Laura?
So strong winds, we talked about it, trees came down, roads were blocked, ferries were cancelled, homes without power. And we even saw there was a plane that was struggling to land. Actually, I had a text from CJR hairdresser saying, a friend of mine is flying, they're really, really worried, is it going to be okay? But it was really more, the south and the southeast didn't really have the strong winds, there's no warnings enforced, but this is the plane coming into land in some very strong crosswinds, the pilot doing an incredible job of landing that. But yeah, it was the north of the UK that had gusts of wind up to 80 miles an hour. So yeah, our first big storm of the season, it's now cleared away. Here's the details.
Looks like things are heating up. Box boilers, proud sponsors of weather on Good Morning Britain.
So the reason the storm was named is because it was causing widespread disruption, as it did across large parts of northern England, Scotland, Northern Ireland and Wales. This was the whole band of rain sequence that came through yesterday overnight, and it's now clearing away from the north in its way with more rain overnight tonight. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Thanks, Laura.
Still to come on Good Morning Britain, from Albert Square to Afghanistan, Ross Kemp is celebrating 40 years on our screens. But find out why he went rogue on the set of EastEnders, sneaking into scenes he wasn't scripted into. And the reason will surprise you. He joins us live in the studio after 7.
Brilliant stuff. Plus, nearly half of families with children now text each other when they're in the same house, according to a new survey. But does this make you a lazy parent, or is it just practical in the digital age? Let us know what you think. Get in touch on Facebook, Twitter or email. If I want to talk to the boys, if I want them to respond, sorry, not talk to them, but I want them to respond, Snapchat them. I've joined Snapchat to get in touch, particularly with my youngest son.
Okay.
That is the way. And then suddenly you realise there's all those filters, so I just keep spamming them with ridiculous pictures until they respond.
You know, on Snapchat, I can now track your location.
Yes.
So I can see if you're back in the This Morning studio. Right, I'm gonna link you.
What can I say? They're lovely. They do look after you over there. They really do. It's a lovely. They're really lovely.
Right, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are.
Warm.
Let's get you on Snapchat.
Hello, I'm Faye Barker with the Good Morning Britain headlines in London. As we've been hearing, a 17-year-old boy remains in custody after a 15-year-old girl was killed on her way to school in Croydon. That is the way it's looking in London so far. More from us after 7, but back now to Ben and Susanna.
Just coming up to 6:30, still to come, the journalist at the centre of the storm, Ava Santina Evans, says she has received threats and been told to watch her back online following sexist and derogatory comments made about her on Dan Wootton's GB News programme by Lawrence Fox. We talked about this yesterday morning with the Culture Secretary, and since then both men have been suspended from the channel. We're going to speak to Ava live next about the sort of threats that she has received in the wake of those comments.
Just incredible. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV1.
See you in a moment. Welcome back. Let's have a look at the front pages, dominated, of course, by this horrific killing of a 15-year-old girl stabbed on her way to school in Croydon, South London, yesterday morning. The Sun reports that the attack took place around 8:30 in the morning near the Whitgift shopping centre. The paper says 2 people, including the bus driver, made efforts to save the girl. She died 50 minutes later.
The Daily Mail quotes the Met's Chief Superintendent Andy Britton, who described the attack as every parent's worst nightmare. And the Daily Mirror describes the teenager as the latest victim of our knife crime epidemic. Shortly, we're hoping to speak to the local MP, Sarah Jones, about that, because she had asked for parents to keep their children away from Croydon town centre after a spate of stabbings in March earlier in the year. So we'll discuss that. That was after school, wasn't it? Don't let the kids congregate after school.
Yeah.
This was on the way to school.
Yes.
I mean, they haven't got much choice.
No.
If you've got to get to school on a school bus,
yeah,
that's where you have to go.
So we're going to discuss that awful story and what's happening in Croydon in a few minutes' time. In the meantime, though, we're going to talk about what happened on GB News, because the presenter Dan Wootton has been suspended, along with Lawrence Fox, over the actor and Reclaim Party leader's sexist and derogatory comments about a journalist, Ava Santina Evans.
Yeah, his comments made Ava feel physically sick, and the channel has said they are now conducting a full investigation. We're going to speak to Ava, as well as former Labour Special Advisor Aisha Hazarika and former Conservative parliamentary candidate Ali Miraj in just a moment. First, though, in case you've missed it, here's that interview that aired on Tuesday night.
So we're going to discuss violence against women right now. And Ava, stay with us because we have this absolutely shocking story. The 15-year-old girl stabbed to death in her school uniform on her way to school in Croydon yesterday. A 17-year-old boy was arrested not far away a short time later.
The MP for Croydon Central and the founder of the all-party parliamentary group on child criminal exploitation and knife crime, Sarah Jones, joins us now. Good morning to you, Sarah Jones. Thank you for joining us. We'd much rather it wasn't in these circumstances. I kind of, heartbroken for the community and for this young girl's family, but how on earth has it got to this? This is an area that you have said to parents, don't let your children congregate after school. This was an incident that happened on the way to school. They don't have a choice. Ali, Aisha, thank you for joining us as ever. Ava, thank you for coming in as well.
Thank you for having
and sharing your thoughts on what you've been through. We are very sorry that you've had to face all of that as well.
Thank you. Yeah, got our support. Thanks very much indeed. Right, it is 6:56. It's competition time now. How do you fancy winning £1 million? Andy Peters has the details. Morning, Andy. Let's put a smile on our faces.
I'll try my hardest. Good morning, Susanna. Good morning, Ben. Yeah, £1 million, that would put a smile on anybody's face. It is a life-changing amount of money that is guaranteed to go to somebody. We're calling it the big one. The big £1 million is up for grabs. Start to think what you would do with that sort of money. It's life-changing. Would it be buying a new house? Would it be buying a new car? More about where I am a little bit later. Or would you just save some for a rainy day? £1 million is up for grabs, and someone's guaranteed to win it. So grab your phone. It's the fastest way to enter. It might be cold and rainy outside, but we could have a lot of sunshine in your bank account. £1 million could be yours, and here's how.
For another chance to win £1 million, text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message, or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge, or post your name and phone number to CD38, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 20th of October. Good luck.
Bright outlook. Box Solar, proud sponsors of weather on Good Morning Britain.
Morning to you. Storm Agnes swept across the UK yesterday and overnight last night. It is now clearing away from the north of Scotland, but if we look at our latest pressure sequence, we see our next area of low pressure bringing more rain overnight tonight, but nowhere near. And this whole band of rain moves its way northwards overnight tonight, so a wet night to come. How do things pan out as we head through the next 7 days into the weekend? Well, let's take a look. So for Scotland, Northern Ireland, and for northern areas of England, it's pretty much anywhere north of Leeds. That's the dividing line. We look at our temperatures. So here's where we are for average for the time of year in the north, around about 16. And our temperatures sit around about average as we head through the next 7 days, maybe a little below. Percentage chance of rainfall across the north of the UK. So how likely are we to see wet weather across the north? Actually, it doesn't look too bad. It's largely dry because any rain that comes in is further south. Today, that rain's now cleared away, largely fine into the weekend, but wet weather returns into next week. Fortunes further south for England and Wales as we head through the next 7 days. Well, again, if we look at our temperatures compared to average, it was fairly mild, actually, at the start of the week. Now temperatures around about average as we head through the rest of the week into the weekend. Maybe a little cooler as we head into next week. And then here's our percentage chance of rainfall. So actually, it is largely dry today. Later on, we see that wet weather moving in. Actually, some decent spells of sunshine to end the week and into the weekend. There's a chance later on Sunday, we see an increased risk of showers. Some showers coming through on Monday. But then there's that high pressure building into next week. So the outlook into next week is largely fine and dry with some decent spells of sunshine. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Good morning, Britain. Tributes flood in for a teenage girl stabbed to death on her way to school. The 15-year-old girl was killed in front of her friends in Croydon, South London. A 17-year-old boy is being questioned by police. We're live there with the latest throughout the morning.
The shocking truth about vaping and its impact on Britain's children. This programme has found that more than a third of 11 to 17-year-olds have vaped, despite it being illegal for youngsters under 18 to buy e-cigarettes. Ewan Fisher nearly died after taking up vaping as a teenager. His stark warning against the habit that almost cost him his life after 8 o'clock.
Also this morning, why Ross Kemp is not ruling out a return to EastEnders as he celebrates 40 years on our screens. He joins us live just before 8.
And do you text or snap your child whilst under the same roof rather than talk to them? Debating whether that's just plain lazy, Susanna Reid, or practical parenting in the digital age.
Thursday, 28th of September, 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Susanna Reid.
Good morning, Britain. Our main news this morning, the shocking killing of a 15-year-old girl stabbed to death on her way to school in Croydon in South London yesterday morning. A 17-year-old boy who was known to the victim was arrested a short time later, not far away. The teenager's family is heartbroken and her school described her as a much-loved and valued friend and pupil.
The Metropolitan Police Commissioner has praised the response from the local community. A bus driver and passer-by were seen desperately trying to save the girl before the emergency services arrived. Our chief correspondent, Richard Gaisford, is in Croydon for us this morning. Morning, Richard. So I imagine they're still trying to come to terms with what happened yesterday morning.
Richard, thank you very much indeed. That's our main news this morning. Now, here's Kate with the rest of the day's stories.
Thanks very much indeed. And we start with an exclusive survey for this programme, which has revealed more than a third of children have tried vaping. Some are using e-cigarettes up to 6 times a week, and that's despite it being illegal for youngsters under 18 to buy them. Disposable vapes could be banned under new laws being considered by ministers to protect children from becoming addicted. Well, Nick Dixon is at a secondary school in Somerset where they've seen this all too much, haven't they, Nick? Nithya, thanks very much indeed. Well, that is it. You're up to date. Back to you two.
Thank you, Kate. Right then, still to come on Good Morning Britain. From Albert Square to Afghanistan, Ross Kemp celebrating 40 years on our screens with a new memoir. We're going to find out why he went rogue on the set of EastEnders, sneaking into scenes he wasn't scripted into.
He'd just pop up in the background, wouldn't he? Because you got extra cash.
Yeah, if you were in
the scene. And he thought to himself, you know what?
I've got to be here all day.
While I'm here, I may as well earn
got to make hay while the sun shines, isn't that what they say? So he'd pop up, he'd pour someone a pint, walk away, and that would get him a little bit of extra money. I love it.
We'll find out how much when he joins us live in the studio just before it.
That's why Kate occasionally just wanders through the back of the shop. Just to,
I could get into.
Great value.
She's
Kate.
always lurking somewhere.
Exactly.
Let's get the news, travel and weather where you are. See if Kate pops up there.
Now you two pay me.
Hello, I'm Faye Barker with the Good Morning Britain headlines in London. As you've been hearing, a 17-year-old boy remains in custody after a 15-year-old girl was killed on her way to school in Croydon. That is the latest in London. We'll see you again after 8, but back now to Ben and Susanna.
"7, still to come on Good Morning Britain. Fewer than half of British black people consider themselves proud to be British. It's the largest survey of black Britons, and it's highlighted serious concerns of racism across education and in the workplace. So, is this a wake-up call? We will discuss this next.
And a little bit later on, how England rugby legend Ben Cohen has gone behind bars for a rugby prison rehabilitation documentary with his former teammates, despite being haunted by the death of his own father, who was killed after breaking up a fight in a nightclub 20 years ago. It's a fascinating documentary. Grand Slammers.
Love it.
First step was last night. The second step is tonight, and the prisoners are taking on an Australian team, recreating the 2003 World Cup final. It's been gripping. I've really enjoyed it.
Yeah, but Ben has a really haunting story, doesn't he,
really
about
does.
losing his father, and I just wonder whether today he just feels that resonating.
With what's happening in the news.
Because of what happened in Croydon yesterday morning. So we talked to Ben. He's being very honest about that, and the show is terrific, trying to rehabilitate prisoners through sport.
Yeah.
It's a noble aim. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV1.
"7. Good to have you with us this morning. Now then, the biggest ever survey of black British people has found less than half are proud of being British. In fact, only just over a third of the 11,000 surveyed said that they see Britain as their permanent home.
Now, we did touch on this topic with the legendary broadcaster Clive Myrie yesterday. Here's what he had to say.
You have every reason to be very proud of that,
Celebration
Marcus.
of positivity.
Absolutely.
Marcus,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and Neera,
Marcus.
thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
To the team.
Right, 7:35. Storm Agnes was targeting certain parts of the UK last night, and let's find out what the weather is like this morning in the wake of that. There's a congratulations to that pilot.
I just love watching them land sideways. It's not necessarily in the job remit, I'd imagine.
No, but what a skill that is. Laura, what's going on today?
That warm feeling inside. Box Boilers, proud sponsors of weather on Good Morning Britain.
Yes, very impressive landing into the wind. But yes, the impacts from Storm Agnes, which was largely yesterday and overnight last night across northern areas, were trees down, roads then closed, some power outages, top temperatures around about 20 degrees, but with rain moving in from the west later. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Thank you, Laura. Right, still to come. Richard's here, and he's got more on the Dancing on Ice gang.
I have indeed, Ben. It's Ice Ice Baby all the way, as I'll be exclusively revealing the next contestant to get their skates on for the new series of Dancing on Ice. Plus, find out why Harry Styles is swapping the stage for a nursery. All that and more coming up after the break. You're watching Good Morning Britain right here on ITV1.
Richard is here in a moment, and he has an exclusive Dancing on Ice reveal.
Yeah, before that, competition time. Andy has just £1 million to give away. Not bad, AP.
Just how I roll, Benny boy, just how I roll. £1 million, give it away. Someone gets rich beyond their wildest dreams. They win, we all go hurrah, and I chill out. But that's right, have a look. It's £1 million up for grabs. Look at all of those zeros. You could win £1 million. There ain't no other TV show in Britain giving away £1 million apart from the other three in ITV daytime. What would you do with £1 million? If you'd like to buy a new car, I've got some ideas for you. I've come to Joe Macari. They do nice cars. That is a Defender. That's one of only 600 of those cars in the country. This this here, this Aston Martin, is worth over £350,000 and it's in Wedgwood Blue. There's this, a brand new Maserati. Well, it would be new to you if you bought it right now. And also this Ferrari Spider, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. You could get all of these cars and then also have some change. Just imagine the difference having £1 million in your bank account would make to your life right now. Someone is guaranteed to win £1 million, so grab your phone. It's the fastest way to enter. I would love to make you a millionaire.
For another chance to win £1 million. Text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD38, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 20th of October. Good luck.
Let's be honest, who wouldn't want to drive away in their very own brand new Ferrari? Ben, Susanna, I know Ben's obviously been in my car loads for a lift. You know I'm a little bit driving Miss Daisy, but imagine having the keys to a brand new Ferrari. Well, I have got the keys.
Yeah, you have. You can drive it out as well.
My days.
I've been in Andy's car. I've also once been in your car, which was an experience I'll never forget. But that was, you know,
those are the old days.
the old days.
Yeah, I once slept in Kate's car. It was basically where she was sleeping at the time as well.
There's quite a lot of stuff that sleeps in Kate's car.
It's like it's got its own ecosystem, hasn't it?
It is
Probably
feral.
if I look in the back, there's still a few people there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably, yes.
Under the sandwich wrappers.
Those
Forest around
festivals.
for them, yes.
Yeah.
You have a huge reveal, and it's
Huge.
not what's in Kate's boot.
No, indeed. A huge announcement for you. We're finally in autumn now, and then before you know it, after the leaves have turned brown, Christmas will be upon us. New Year, and then, of course, Dancing on Ice will be back on our screens. Now, the star-studded cast for next year is beginning to take shape, and we've got a thrilling name to add to the list. So who have we got in the lineup so far? 2 names have already been announced. The first being world champion boxer Ricky Hatton.
Unbelievable.
Who reckons he can hold his nerve in the boxing ring.
So excited.
Probably will do on the rink as well. I know you're very excited about
So
that.
excited about
Did that
Ricky.
happen on this morning, Ben?
It did, but obviously I'm just a massive boxing fan, and Ricky Hatton's one of my heroes. The fact that he's never skated before as well.
Yeah, brilliant. The jeopardy.
He's planning on being the first one to use a penguin.
That'll be one to watch then. Don't they make for life? Claire Sweeney, of course. Fresh from the
wonderful.
cobbles and now on to the ice. She started wearing her skates around the house, so pity her laminate flooring. Who is number 3, I hear you cry?
Who is number 3, Richard?
Thank you, Ben. Always the team player. Exclusively on GMB this morning, we've reached for the stars with a performer who don't stop moving. Your third celebrity joining Dancing on Ice next year is...
First tend to forget. I think he was implying.
I'll go and get your little box of hair colour, darling.
Right then, still to come, Ross Kemp's going to be joining us celebrating 40 years on screen. We're going to find out which show the actor originally auditioned for. He screwed up the audition, which is why he ended up getting the Grant Mitchell role on EastEnders. And why he's not ruling out a return to Albert Square.
And what he was doing in the back of other actors' shots. We'll ask him that after the break. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV1.
It is 6 minutes to 8. He's had a remarkable career from EastEnders to war zones in Afghanistan. He's even risked his life interviewing some of the world's notorious drug gangs.
Nicknamed the hardest man in television, Ross Kemp is now revealing all, delving into his extraordinary life in his new book, Tales from an Unexpected Life, which is out today. Take Nothing for Granted, a title suggested by...
Scott Mitchell, Barbara's husband. That was, yeah, and I was going, should we call it? I have no idea. I'll be careful what I say on YouTube and stuff. But it was great fun. I realised that I missed it quite a lot.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you'd be embraced if you went back, I'm sure, Ross. It's been really, really lovely to have you in. There you go, Ross's new book, Take Nothing for Granted, Tales from an Unexpected Life, is available. And there's some brilliant pictures in there as well. And loads of other great stories.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much.
Great to see you, Ross.
You love the pictures, don't you?
I'm all about pictures. It's the way I work, not the words.
Great to see you. Let's get a weather forecast. Here's Laura.
Thank you.
The temperature's rising. Box Solar, proud sponsors of weather on Good Morning Britain.
And for me, it's all about the pictures, and my weather graphics will show you that this was the scene yesterday as Storm Agnes swept across the country. The radar showing heavy rainfall, and behind it the winds picked up, clearing by tomorrow morning for many of us, and then tomorrow largely dry. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Thursday, 28th of September, 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Ben Shephard and Susanna Reid.
Good morning, Britain. It's just gone 8 o'clock. Our main news this morning. A teenage boy is being questioned by detectives after a 15-year-old girl was stabbed to death on her way to school in Croydon in South London yesterday morning. Her family is heartbroken.
The Metropolitan Police Commissioner has praised the response from the local community. A bus driver and a passerby were seen desperately trying to save the girl before the emergency services arrived. Our chief correspondent, Richard Gatesford, is in Croydon for us this morning. Morning, Richard. So the police have described her death quite simply as senseless. Richard, thank you.
Absolutely shocking news from Croydon. That's our main news this morning. Now here's Kate with the rest of the day's stories.
Thank you very much indeed. Good morning. An exclusive survey for this programme has revealed more than a third of children have tried vaping. Some are using e-cigarettes up to 6 times a week. That's despite it being illegal for youngsters under 18 to buy them.
Yeah, vaping and the consequences of vaping really has been dominating the staff's time at this school over the last year or so. They've been confiscating vapes from the kids and handing them over to the police, and the kids saying that they're attracted to these vapes because of the colours and the flavours as well. The school as well has written to parents pleading with them to warn their kids about the dangers of vaping, and we can see from our exclusive survey this morning that young people under the age of 13 are trying vaping now, and it seems to be alarmingly easy for them at times to do so.
Storm Agnes has been battering many parts of the country overnight, with winds gusting up to 80 miles an hour in Wales. Firefighters in Northern Ireland rescued a woman swept away in her car by floods, and hundreds of homes in Devon and Cornwall lost power.
Well, it is still very blustery here on the east coast this morning as Storm Agnes sweeps across the north of the country. Overnight, parts of Scotland have been buffeted by very high winds and heavy rain. In some places, a number of flood warnings in place and ongoing disruption to transport for some. Northern Ireland also, as we know, hit by pretty powerful winds, dangerous winds for some. But this morning for England and Wales, things a lot calmer as the winds begin to ease. But certainly for many of us overnight and this morning, still feeling the after effects of Storm Agnes.
The female journalist who was the subject of sexist and derogatory comments about her appearance on GB News has told this programme she has received an increase in online threats since the incident. Presenters Dan Wootton and Lawrence Fox have been suspended by the channel.
And GB News is carrying out its own internal investigation, while the media regulator Ofcom says it is assessing a number of complaints. But there are already 10 active investigations into GB News, and some are questioning whether the regulator has strong enough powers, especially as the woman at the centre of all this, Ava Santina Edwards, says she is still receiving threats.
There are certain people who now are threatening to come after me. Sorry, it feels ridiculous even saying it, but yeah, I mean, my direct messages on social media are full of people threatening me.
1 in 6 species is at risk of being lost in Britain, according to a landmark report by leading wildlife scientists. The State of the Nature survey found nearly half of bird species are under threat, while almost a third of amphibians and reptiles, as well as a quarter of land mammals, are at risk of vanishing.
Well, one of the main reasons for those alarming numbers is habitat loss. According to that report, only 1 in 7 habitats are in good condition. And that's primarily because it's been lost to intensive farming, unsustainable fishing and climate change. But there is some cause for hope in those conclusions from that report. Conservation projects like this nature reserve do work, but experts are calling on the government for more investment.
Lithia, thanks very much indeed. Turtle doves, apparently, one of those going. Shame.
Isn't it just? Try and turn it around, maybe.
For Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kate. Right then, still to come on Good Morning Britain, how England rugby legend Ben Cohen has gone behind bars for a rugby prison rehab documentary, despite being haunted by the death of his own father, who was killed in a nightclub over 20 years ago. Ben's going to be sharing his emotional story with us and what has been an extraordinary documentary as well.
First, let's catch up on the news, travel and weather where you are. See you in a moment.
Hello, I'm Faye Barker with the headlines in London. As we were hearing, a 17-year-old boy remains in custody after a 15-year-old girl was killed on her way to school in Croydon. That's the latest. Back now to Ben and Susanna.
It's 11 minutes past 8, so a council has ordered 2 apartment blocks in South East London to be demolished for breaching planning conditions. The problem is the tenants have already moved in.
Greenwich Council says the £36 million Mast Quay development is substantially different to the approved plans. The developer disagrees and plans to appeal. But how can you possibly demolish a £36 million development when people are desperate for housing? Well, let's speak to the person in charge, who is Councillor Anthony Okereke. Very good morning to you. What people will find absolutely remarkable is that this isn't a set of tower blocks which are under construction or where you've just laid the foundations. They are, as we can see behind you, fully built, fully finished and partially inhabited. How does it make sense to knock them down? Council Leader, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I think viewers will just find it absolutely remarkable, especially as you say, Ben, that demolition and rebuilding, according to an industry source, could cost over £160 million. The developer, Coma Homes Group, says it's surprised and extremely disappointed by the decision, and they'll be appealing against the notice and look forward to robustly correcting the inaccuracies and addressing the council's concerns. Not quite as surprised and disappointed as those people who've already moved in.
Yeah, who are concerned about what happens.
Yeah,
76 homes are already occupied. Let us know what you think about that. Quick competition for you now, though. You could be winning £1 million if Andy has his way. He's got the details for us. Morning, Andy.
And I will have my way. Somebody will win £1 million. I'm here at Joe Macari. They've got some really nice cars. If buying a new car with your £1 million is what you would do, then this is would be the place to come. Those 4 cars over there that you see there, they're less than £1 million altogether. You could get change from £1 million, but I want to show you these cars over here. They're behind the rope. And you know what they say? If your name's not down, you're not coming in. These 2 cars are worth tens of millions of pounds. So much so that this one isn't really even classified as a car anymore. It's classified as a piece of art because it's that special and that valuable. It hasn't even got air conditioning and I can't see a sat-nav. But anyway, look, what would you do with £1 million? Would you buy a brand new car? Would you save it for a rainy day? Or maybe pay off that mortgage, get a brand new kitchen? I'd always love a kitchen with an island in the middle, wouldn't we all? £1 million would change your life and someone is guaranteed to win that money. So grab your phone, it's the fastest way to enter. And remember, if you go online, I'll give you the details in a second, you can get the entry price down. I would love for you to win £1 million and here's how.
For another chance to win £1 million. Text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus 1 standard network rate message. Or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD38. PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 20th of October. Good luck.
Just imagine the money in your bank account, going to the cash point and seeing that you had £1 million in your bank account. Sounds so strange saying it, but somebody will this month. We'll start dialing that winner after we close the line. Be that person, so get your entry in. I would love for you to win £1 million. Ben, Susanna, any of the cars taking your fancy? I mean, I haven't got the money to buy them, but
more or less
it's
all
at
of
least
them.
a nice gesture.
More or less all of them, to be honest.
I like that piece of art.
Okay. Yeah.
Andy, that was
The
particularly
Aston.
appealing.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
Yes,
Thank you so much. Still to come, the truth behind children vaping. This programme has found that more than a third of 11 to 17-year-olds have tried e-cigarettes. How? Because it's illegal for those under 18 to buy them. Well, we're going to speak to Ewan Fisher. Ewan nearly died after taking up vaping. He was told he had the lungs of an 80-year-old. And he wants you, if you're a kid, to put the vape down. He's got a life-saving message. He's going to talk to us next.
Yeah, it's an important one. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV1.
That's right, yes. OK. Sorry, we're just talking to our next guest because we've got, Lorraine, a remarkable story about the number of under 18s who are vaping. And it's shocking.
It's an epidemic, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to talk about that next. Sorry to interrupt.
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, listen, I think that's a really, really important one. I think it's horrible. See, when you're walking through and somebody's vaping and it's like,
You
it's
walk
really horrible.
through their fug of whatever it is.
Yeah,
it's
it's probably better than walking through cigarette smoke. I don't like that either, but it's the sweetness of it, isn't it? Oh, it turns your stomach.
Yeah, we don't know enough about it, I don't think. So it'll be really interesting. I look forward to hearing that interview. Right, let me tell you what's coming up in ATV exclusive. Michael Palin is right here live. He's going to be talking to us for the first time since the death of his lovely wife, Helen. Matt Lucas is in the studio. Well, and he might be giving us a verdict on the new Bake Off. And also why he's reuniting with David Walliams. The secret also rise of cosmetic surgery during the Hollywood strikes. Apparently, because they had some downtime, a lot of actors have thought, I can just get some work done and nobody will know. So we'll see you with that at 9.
Lorraine, thank you very much. Right then, 26 minutes past 8. So in an exclusive survey for Good Morning Britain, we've found that more than a third of children aged 11 to 17 have tried vaping, with 1 in 3 doing so before they were 13 years old.
Just to be clear, it is completely illegal for those under the age of 18 to buy e-cigarettes, but our investigation revealed a high number of shops still selling to teens under 18. Michelle Morrison has more.
Let's hope that they are listening and they do hear your words of warning, Ewan. Thank you for sharing that, Hilary. Thank you as well. The spokesperson for the Independent British Vape Trade Association says selling products to under 18s is illegal, and they are calling for tougher sanctions against retailers that break the law, including raising fines to £10,000.
Go and do it, kids. Let's take a look now at the weather with Laura.
Looks like things are heating up. Box boilers, proud sponsors of weather on Good Morning Britain.
Good morning to you. Storm Agnes has now cleared away from the UK. The winds are starting to ease, so a bright, breezy day ahead. Nothing as windy as it was yesterday evening and overnight tonight. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.
Laura, thank you. Now then, rugby legend Ben Cohen has gone behind bars with some of his old teammates in a new documentary which is trying to teach a group of inmates how to play their favourite game of rugby.
But going to prison and working with the inmates was particularly hard for Ben because he lost his dad back in 2000 when he was beaten up in a nightclub trying to break up a fight and died a month later. And he does open up about this in the programme.
Thank you for coming in, Ben.
So good to see you. What a fantastic way to mark 20 years of that epic victory.
Yeah, can't believe it. 20 years. You can watch the final episode of Grand Slammers on ITV1, ITVX at 9 p.m. tonight. I'm sure you can stream the first episode on ITVX as well, or before you watch it. I promise you won't regret it. It really is very special.
Yeah. Ben, thank you so much. Still to come. Does it make you a lazy parent to text your kids when they are in the same house? Even the same room?
Yeah.
Or is it just practical parenting? Let us know what you think. We're debating that next. You're watching Good Morning Britain on ITV1. Still to come, am I a lazy parent for texting my kids instead of speaking to them? Well, I tell you what, They've got their headphones on all the time.
They can't hear.
It's the only way to get through to them. Let us know what you think. We're going to debate that next.
I've just texted Andy because it's his slot now. Come on, AP, tell us what we could win.
Ben and Susanna, kiss, kiss. Yeah, they'll know that they can win £1 million. I just text it to them. I won't talk to them. I don't need to talk to them. I can text them. Morning. Say, I've got £1 million to give away. Just look at the numbers on the screen. £1 million is up for grabs. You could win the lot. Imagine what you'd do with that life-changing amount of money. Grab your phone and send a text. Send the text to us. We'll enter you into the draw, and then you know that you're in with a chance of winning that £1 million. Someone is guaranteed to win £1 million, and that somebody really could be you. Send that text. Send that text. Run the VT now, Sam. Send that text.
For another chance to win £1 million. Text cash to 82248. Text costs £2 plus one standard network rate message. Or go to the website. Entries cost £2. You can call 09068 782248. Calls cost £2 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and phone number to CD38, PO Box 7558, Derby, DE1 0NQ. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on Friday the 20th of October. Good luck.
Andy just texted me to say we can win £1 million.
We can't.
No, we can't. That's a good point. Andy, your text is wrong. Now then, do you have children who live under the same roof? Is it easier to text them or snap them rather than try and talk to them because you can't get in touch and they're always busy on their phones?
Exactly. It's a digital age and families are communicating via WhatsApp groups in the same house. Are we lazy parents for doing so? Reality star mum Amanda Jane Lovett says, you're just lazy. Get off your phones and speak to your kids. While honest mum blogger Vicky Broadbent says it's the only way to talk to the kids. Morning, both.
Morning.
Vicky, how old are your kids?
Conversation.
Look, we have to leave it there because we have to text Lorraine and see if she's lined up, ready for her programme.
James has just texted in, actually, saying, I text them, I'm about to turn the Wi-Fi off, and they come running straight away.
Yeah.
That's a great way to discipline kids.
That's a great way to start the communication.
Thank you both very much indeed. Lorraine, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Got your text. Right, after the break, following the death. Well, we're going to be talking to Michael Palin, and he's next telling me about his most personal project to date. Then why the Hollywood actors' strike has led to a surge in cosmetic surgery. Now, stars are taking advantage of that downtime to, well, become a little bit more refreshed, shall we say. And just 2 weeks since giving birth to her 7th child, Paris
Morning in the Fury household. Very, very hectic on a day-to-day basis.
Let's go. We're going to be late, quick.
And after Angela Rippon did the splits at 78, I'll be finding out how we can all do it and why it is never too late. Well, frankly, I really don't know what all the fuss is about.